Yeah, hello, hello back. Now there's a bit of change. Igor, you explained already to us that there will be a change. Professor Pejovic and we will have this workshop now. I will just say before that a few things about interoperability and maybe show also some practical things. Thanks to Professor. He explained already all these things that are important for the bill of lading. So I will just leave out what has already been explained. Also, a little bit of history of electronic bill of lading, which is now the first thing about electronic bill of lading, or at least the electronic signature, was in Hamburg rules in '78, and then some other important milestones which follow this one. What I always emphasize is the Vinco standalone electronic bill of lading clause, which brought something that is a concept of approval of international group of P&I. All the systems, all the solution providers of electronic bill of lading that have been approved by international group, and this approval is rather hard to achieve, I can say. We've been struggling with our company for more than 1 year, it was almost 2 years together. There are some other providers that told me that they even needed more time to come to the approval, 2 years and more. And this approval means that in case of damages of the cargo that is transported under this electronic bill of lading, then the P&I Club will recognize and pay eventual damages or insurance, however you want to put it. So this approval was let's say, first standard in electronic bill of lading that is even nowadays the most important standard. These are the IG, International Group of P&I's requirements. I'm showing this every time, but today we don't have time to go through this. This is the circular letter with which international group sends this information to all the shipping companies that some new solution provider for the transfer of electronic bill of lading has been approved, and these are now the approved solution providers. The first one was Bolero, the second one was S-Docs, the third one eTitle, the eDocs Online, Way, CargoX, TradeNets. And why I'm emphasizing this? Because every year we have at least one new. This year's new is IQAX, which is a company that is owned by Orient Overseas International Ltd. You will know this group also owns the shipping company OOCL. Costco and OOCL already joined IQAX. TradeLens is connected to Maersk, you would know. Wave is connected to MSC. And we CargoX, we are not connected to any shipping company. And there's this really intriguing question of interoperability of these platforms. So the basic idea of the platforms until now was that this is an ecosystem which is containing all the parties that are using the electronic bill of lading. I like to show this picture, which is very self-explanatory. So you will see all these participants on the upper side of the contract of carriage and the lower side of the contract of sale, which are engaged in this process and which are using these documents. So this picture is also the reason of the complication of the whole process, because you have to have on board all these subjects in certain platform, in certain solution provider, in order to use the electronic bill of lading. So now you have even more complicated situation where you have different solution providers in this chain of subjects. Let me show you one interesting picture. So this is actually what could happen, that you have carrier on one platform, shipper on another platform, bank on another platform, consignee and so on, and then carrier on the same, or even on two platforms or three platforms. There's no actually limit to it. So the first idea, and for me not to be too long, just please ask anything you would like to ask, because this is a workshop, it's not just me asking about it. The first idea was, the last year idea I would say, was that the legal part of interoperability, because we have two parts of the interoperability. One is the technical and the other one is legal, would be achieved through the bylaws that were prepared by DCSA. Maybe just one or two words, not to make a commercial for DCSA. This is a organization, which is a non-profit organization. It's Digital Container Shipping Association, which is preparing standards for electronic bill of lading and all documents that are electronic, not just in container shipping industry, but also in shipping industry in broader sense. They are vendor neutral, they are technology agnostic, non-competitive, and what I explained before, also non-profit organization. And their standards are also aligned with the UN CPAC standards, which is very, very important. So what happened is that the idea was that they prepare some kinds of bylaws which will be adopted by all solution providers. So everybody would have the same bylaws. You know what happened with at that time 7 providers. They said no way. Not all of them. Some said even yeah, we could go this way. And they had to come with the alternative solution, which is in my opinion very good solution. Instead of this, they came with this solution. So you would have different solution providers on a different platforms, you know, CargoX, TradeLens, Wave, so on and so forth. Every single solution provider has its rule book, or usually it would be terms and conditions governing the interactions between the user and the platform. And they came with the idea that there would be in place a multilateral agreement between the solution providers. This multilateral agreement would be then the legal basis for this interaction between one platform and the other platform. And there are many, many intriguing and interesting questions connected to this. Maybe just a few of them. One is that this multilateral agreement would not interfere with the solution providers' bylaws. That means that user and the platform, you saw before CargoX platform, we have more than 90,000 users, would have the same legal relationship as they have now. So this multilateral agreement would not interfere with what is, let's say, a legal relationship between the user and the platform. So then we have this very intriguing question about the title and possession, and I agree very much with what we said before. It's not about sticking to the old concepts, but it's the most important, what is the function of the bill of lading, or what is function of certain, for example, I don't know, possession or title or control, like being the new, let's say, concept which is not legally adopted. In the electronic world, for example, the division between possession and title is not something that is relevant. It could be within one concept of exclusive control. I know sometimes it's really hard to just accept these new concepts, also because the electronic world is a little bit unknown to us lawyers. And this is also the reason I wanted to show you before how it works. And it's hard to sometimes even understand what is very good question before. What is the original? The original are at the end of the day zeros and ones in the heart of maybe computer, USB, or in our case on blockchain. So that's the original. What we print out in a human readable format is just a copy. Then we have these principles of confidentiality, integrity, and so on, and so forth. What I wanted to emphasize is that this agreement is also raising new questions. You know, if you have a solution provider which is connected to another solution provider with a multilateral agreement and to another solution provider, what is the role of the solution provider versus his user? Does he have the right to transfer the data of the user, the BL of the user to another platform? So there has to be some kind of legal solution how to answer to this challenge. And the idea is that the solution providers, first of all, sign this multilateral agreement, which is giving the ground for the interaction between these solution providers' platforms, and later on have also some kind of annex, which will be most probably the same for all solution providers, which is regulating the relationship between the user and the platform in a sense of transfer of the document to another platform. I hope I'm not that it's clear what I'm talking about.